Hi, welcome Ratndeep to the interview.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. So, as I said, that this interview might be recorded and posted on social media, but this interview will also help you prepare for one of the key interviews that you are planning to give. So, as I understand, you are planning to give an interview, and you have an interview call from one of the very large organizations. And I have your CV with me. Now, in terms of the scope of the interview, this will be more with the basic fundamentals of Linux or Windows, whichever operating system that you choose, some basic fundamentals of networking, and also we'll be asking you some more towards like the administration and also on the network devices and also.
Okay.
So let's start up with the interview. So tell me about yourself, Ratndeep. What have you done so far? How much experience do you have?
So, my name is Ratnesh Patel. Currently, I'm working in Vodafone Idea, which is one of the biggest telecom company in India, where I work in providing the technical support to the cloud-based internal tools, which are used by the various users. But the users are the internal users or the employees of Vodafone Idea, which work on field. So we provide them technical support for the configurations of hardware, and we also configure hardware on behalf of them whenever necessary. And I recently completed my graduation in 2023, and I joined Vodafone Idea in September 2023. So far, I have 10 months of experience in working in Vodafone Idea.
Sure. Okay. Now, in terms of your skills, so what exactly have you worked on in Vodafone? What are the
So,
projects that
sir,
you have? Yeah, tell me about the projects that you have done.
So there is a project which we are currently working on. I am working on the same project since I joined. This is the project for the configuration of nodes. So nodes are in terms of hardware devices which are used in the towers. So these are devices which we can say indoor unit for the antennas that are like configured on the tower. So we provide support for configuration of those nodes in terms of when they need some provisioning help. Provisioning is the in the sense is making link between two different antennas. So we provide them support for creating those links. Sometimes we also provide support them explaining how the actual process works of the tools. And I also closely work with the development team of the internal tools for to provide them the generic feedback provided by our employees or users. And yes, that's it.
Okay, sure. All right. And you said that you have worked on Linux or Unix as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me the difference between a logical and a physical volume in Linux?
Logical and physical volumes in terms of memory.
Yes.
So the physical memory is the actual RAM which is equipped with the Linux system, and logical RAM is the part of hard disk we use as a RAM, so that uh, the processes or program we load on the RAM get like we can get a more space to load our processes.
Okay.
So we use some part of the hard disk as a logical RAM.
Okay. And which of them is a physical?
The actual RAM which is connected to the OS is a physical memory.
Okay. And they're connected via like logical volume managers.
Yes.
All right. So if you think that a disk is failing, how would you identify a failing disk and troubleshoot it?
So first of all, I will check the statistics of the disk, uh, which are the basic command like vmstack or vmstack, and I will check the disk utilization. If the utilization goes above 70% or 80%, then I will check which process is utilizing the maximum disk or what is that component which is using the or utilizing the maximum disk, and I will try to resolve the issue on the like, based on it.
Okay. Have you heard a command called smart control?
Smart control. So,
All right. About IOStat?
Yes, I have input output statistics. I have heard that one.
Okay.
So it gives the um, detailed statistics of the input output devices on which current processes are working.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Tell me about the different types of file systems that are used in Linux.
Um, File systems. So in Linux, everything is either file or a process. So there are different file systems. In terms of, are you asking in terms of types of files or
The
the
types
file
of
we
files,
like?
I'll give you one example. So, for example, like NTFS.
Okay, so the volumes we are mount on the disk.
Mm-hmm.
So this can be a swap memory also. NVMe devices and different devices we can mount external storage to the Linux, and this can be used as a swap memory. And different mounting devices we can mount them for the specific processes. Yeah. I
Okay.
would like actually not working not deep that much deep on mounting devices.
Yeah, that's all right. Uh, Tell me about how do you manage user groups and accounts in Linux?
So in our organization, we are already allocated in different user groups. So our user belongs to a certain group. So our group has certain rights, so we can perform that much activities. In Linux, there are three types of ownership, or you can say rights to every file. One is user right, one is group right, and one is other right. So and each contribute read, write, and executable rights. So our user group contains read and write rights. So we can change this, but this can be changed using the user who made this file or the root users.
Tell me the steps involved in creating and mounting a new partition in Linux.
So first of all, we will mount the volume. In if we talk in terms of cloud, we'll mount the volume with the Linux, and then we can check the swap memory, and we have to make partitions in the directories, and these partitions are attached to the directories. But I don't know exactly commands and step. But yeah, I know the process.
Okay. So, what do you understand by a partition in Linux?
So partitioning in Linux is logically dividing memory into different parts.
And why would you
Yes.
do that?
Uh, the first of all, it will provide us a isolation uh, from the different storage devices, and yeah, it will like improve the IO speed of the processor.
Now, coming to the networking part, uh, tell me the difference between the TCP and UDP protocols.
So TCP and UDP both work on transport layer. Uh, TCP stands for control process protocol, and UDP stands for Universal Datagram Protocol. So in TCP, the data is sent in chunks. It is in sequential manner. Like if we send packets 1, 2, or 3, so it will reach by user as 1, 2, or 3. And in UDP, the like data may change. Like if we send 1, 2, 3, it may go 3, 2, 1 or 3, 1, 2. So in that way, and TCP is connection oriented protocol. So before implementing TCP connection, it goes through three-way handshake process, and UDP is connectionless protocol. So in UDP, data integrity is like data may loss in between the transmission, and UDP is fast as compared to the TCP.
All right. Tell me, how would you troubleshoot a basic networking issue on Linux server?
On Linux server. So if we are facing any networking issue to connecting to the internet or to the specific website, so I will first ping the website. So if I am getting the ping, so my network connectivity is issue. Then I will check for the ns lookup command, which will give me the IP addresses of the website and give me brief overview about DNS. And then the most important thing, I will trace route the website. So trace route command will give me the how actually my packets are traversing over the routers. So yeah, this will give me the exact overview what's happening there. and I will try trace route command on 2 or 3 different websites, and I am dropping the my packets on the same second or third router. So this will give me a overview of why I am unable to connect to internet.
So have you done any DevOps in your current organization?
So as such, I haven't done any DevOps in my current organization, but as I said, I closely work with the development team. So I have seen them working on DevOps terms, and that like I got interested into these things. So I started learning DevOps after my job. So yeah, it's going pretty good. So till now, I am learning Kubernetes, and I'm also sometimes when I am free, I go and sit with the development teams, or you can say DevOps team, and I try to learn things how actually DevOps work in our organization. And sometimes I also help them in small tasks.
Tell me the difference between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service.
So software as a service, is also known as SaaS. So it is a basically software, and all the infrastructure, all the services are provided by the cloud provider or the company. So if we just go them and we told them this type of software and everything, so everything will be managed by the company. And if we talk about infrastructure as a service, so in infrastructure as a service is basically example of EC2 instances or the service provided by AWS we use like EKS. So they just provide us the infrastructure. So we have to all manage infrastructure deployments and the like integration part, everything managed by us. And talking about platform as a service, in platform as a service, we have to manage the code integration parts and like basic management of the our services, our website is managed by the cloud provider.
Can you describe the benefits of SaaS over PaaS?
So, if we talk about the benefit of SaaS or PaaS, so the software as a service is completely managed by the provider. So, we just have to worry about the new features that we want to implement, and we can just focus on our product, and everything will be managed by the provider.
Okay. Yep, that's correct. All right, tell me about some of the key principles of DevOps. Why would you use DevOps in your organization?
So DevOps is a best culture for the continuous deployment and continuous integration. So the key components of DevOps is continuous integration and the continuous deployment. So we talk about the from the basic in previous years, the whole process of deployment from the writing code is takes too long. DevOps had simplified the process and automated the most of the tasks which included in deployment process. So whether it is in for deployment or it is you can say in scaling terms of and testing the software's checking the vulnerabilities in the code. So yeah, all these processes are automated. So this is the key components of DevOps.
Okay. And can you tell me the difference between continuous integration and continuous deployment?
So continuous integration is the part where we write the code. It is and when we push the code to the GitHub or some code repositories, so it will be then checked for its vulnerability. Then basic testing is done on the code, and after that, in many organizations we use concept of Docker images. So Docker images will be made from that and will be stored in the image registry or Docker registry. So this part is a continuous integration from basic your code to the make your code deployable. This is the integration part, and in terms of deployment parts, the automatic deployments means the images or the complete bundle we have made from our code will be deployed automatically on the either it is on Kubernetes or the any type of deployment we choose.
Okay. And how about the configuration management tools and infrastructure management tools?
So I have like heard about some infrastructure management tools like Terraform. So I have not closely worked on it, but I have a good overview about them. Like you can make your infrastructure from the files, Terraform files. Yeah, I am planning to learn Terraform in future.
That's all right. Tell me about, have you done any sort of alerting and monitoring? Have you followed those sort of techniques?
Uh, no, no, not now. Like, I haven't worked on any monitoring techniques, but I know some softwares like Prometheus, like other said, these are tools which can be used for the monitoring of our cluster and our deployments.
Okay. What do you understand by alerting and monitoring?
So alerting and monitoring can be of different types. We can set alerting for the like we our CPU utilization goes beyond the 60%. This type this may be also alert, or our traffic is suddenly increasing. If we have next auto scaling group, this can be also alert to alert is basically tell us that something that you have set rules, something is crossing your rules, and monitoring is actually monitoring everything like at what traffic, what is your CPU utilization, at what time you get high traffic, and that sort of stuff. Which traffic from where your traffic is coming from, which type of users are trying to use your systems.
Okay. Now, in terms, you said Docker and Kubernetes in one of your
Yes.
answers. Tell me about what is Docker? Why would you use that?
So is it is a Docker is tool which is used to make images from the code. So the images are the smallest unit, which are smallest executable unit, which can be deployed on the which can be deployed. So these are the actually software packets which are made from the codes. So instead of deploying direct complete code on the system, the images can be used. Images have all the dependencies that are required for the code to run. So these are
Okay. And where does Kubernetes fit into this picture?
so all the images that are created using the Docker are deployed on the Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the orchestration tools which manages all the images deployment, and it provides the platform to manage and deploy these images.
Okay. And what happens if I choose not to go with Kubernetes? So just deploy a Docker container and then run. Why can't I do that?
So you can do that, but it is very hard to manage these Docker containers as the software gets large scale. So managing the entire images and clusters will be will not be that easy. So Kubernetes is easy because it will gives us control plane. Control plane manages all the backend processes like scheduling our containers, scheduling our pods, and the internal communication between pods, internal communication between the images using the services. So yeah, the Kubernetes is good because it provides many features or services that will reduce overhead for the application.
Okay. All right. Coming back to one basic question, what do you understand by YAML or JSON file?
So YAML files are the declarative way to like told something Kubernetes to do this for me. So declarative way is such that we just write all the things we require uh, that we have to done using the Kubernetes, and it will be done using the YAML file. So YAML file is a key value pair. So in which we define what we want. Like if you write type, then we can write type pod services, or it is a load balancer or a controller. So Kubernetes will understand I'm trying to deploy the service.
Now, tell me about a situation where you had to troubleshoot a complex technical issue.
So it is a situation where in my current organization, so we often work in shifts in my organization. So I was working in evening shift. It is about 9:30 p.m. and I hardly anyone is there in office to provide me technical support, as I was a fresher and just complete 3 or 4 months in my organization. So there was a around 1 or 2 persons who can help me, but one of them also was on out for dinner. So there one customer who got curious. The issue was about lease line. One of our customer was using our lease line, and they raised the ticket for they are encountering very slow internet speed, and our one of our field team members also supported them, and they noticed that our connection got interference in terms of the in terms of configuration change, so the port was we are using Ethernet port we are using has some hardware fault. Because of that, we are encountering the issue. And so when our team member noticed the issue, he told me that please configure the issue on behalf of me, as I was new and I was not like that much about these all things. So this was a very big situation for me. I tried to help, but as it is 9:30 p.m., no one was able to help me. So I decided to help them from my side, as that possible. And it was a critical issue. Customer was not able to access the internet. It was a private customer, lease line customer. So I started working on basic, like what's the issue and what will be the resolution. So the resolution was to plug out cable from one port and plug it into the another. So it has to change complete configuration from one port to the another as we forward traffic in different ports. So I told him to just jack in jack out cable. So it don't work. So I just told him to change the port. I will change the configuration. To change the configuration, I preferred the complete documentation. I spend around 30 to 40 minutes in reading the complete documentation, how the port configuration changes, and like how to change what will be the like consequences if we change the port configuration, what will be it, how will it will affect the port. So we realized that the port that we have, like empty port that we have, we can use was not that sufficient to provide that much speed. So I also told field team to request the customer that manage for the this small speed for some time, and we will find the permanent solution for this. So for that, I changed the complete configuration using the documentation, and yes, the customer got a good internet connectivity after that.
Okay. And all right. So tell me, so if your manager tasks you for automating a critical business process using cloud infrastructure and DevOps,
Yes.
what are the different aspects that you would consider? So whenever you're deploying a critical application, tell me about the different aspects that you will consider in your design.
So in terms of architecture, right?
Yes.
So the main thing will be a security. So in terms of if we talk about security, I will check which can be deployed in private subnet and which can be deployed in public subnet. So I will check if the employees which are using our software, either they are inside our companies, but we will deploy some things which are used by users in private subnet, and some backend configurations like database or some backend configurations we will deploy them on private subnet. So this will I will also use NAT gateway to check, and security groups are as there. And the main thing I will use load balancer, and as I know the how many users daily access my website, so I will not use the load balancer, sorry, auto scaling group, as I know the number of users which are be accessing my website. Yeah, this will be the configuration. So I will configure load balancer. Behind that, I will configure my nodes
Okay.
node group.
So you spoke about security. Tell
Yes.
me, so if you have a very critical business for which security is paramount, can you name in terms of what are the, and I think you already named a few of them, like security in terms of public subnets, private subnets.
Yes.
Okay. What are the all the points that you can think regarding security, regarding your data
So
security, your network security, your web security, container security? Tell me about everything that you can think of in terms of security.
so we can also implement NACLs, security groups. Then as I said, NAT gateway to communication for internet for private domain. Uh, we can also implement ingress in the if we are using Kubernetes cluster. Ingress will help services for the communication. Um, yeah.
Now, how will you secure your data?
So I will also put data in the private subnet as no one can access only the nodes inside my private subnet or backend nodes which can access data. And will I apply the security group policies for the incoming traffic and outgoing traffic? Like for my database, I can only receive requests from specific IP addresses or subnet, and I can send data out only with specific subnets or IP addresses, which will be my backend nodes or the private subnet nodes.
Okay. What do you understand by data encryption?
So data encryption is a technique in which we convert data into some encryption, or we can say some code languages, and it will be decrypted on the receiver end.
And
So yes.
all right. So tell me about KMS. What do you understand by KMS?
KMS,
Key management system.
okay, key management system is used in AWS for the encryption. So if we encrypt the data in some form, so it can be decrypted using that specific keys which are managed by AWS, or either we can also manage those keys. Those keys are used to decrypt the data.
Yep. So customer managed keys. Okay. So just imagine a scenario where a cloud deployment encountered unexpected challenges. So how will you communicate these challenges to stakeholders?
So if there's some user raise the issue for like they are facing issues for deployment, then first I will check is the many customer issue receiving the same issue. They if the all the customers are all you can say many customers is like encountering the same issue, then I will try to figure it out from my end, like what's the wrong. I will check configuration from my end, is something wrong with the specific region or the specific availability zone customers. So I will check for that, and if the some issue is occurred, and I will if, escalate to my seniors, or I will take help from my seniors to see the issue and what can be done to resolve the issue. And then like we if we come on a certain output, then we will go to the stakeholders with the issue, and also the like what will be possible ways to solve the issue, and what will be the results, the action taken in solving the issue. So I will not only go with problem with them, I will also give them solutions or go with the solutions to how to solve the issue.
Okay. Can you think of a situation where you had to lead a team through a challenging project?
So it was my final year project things, and the other one I can remember is in my college days when I have arranged a very big event of around 800 participants. It was a esports event where I was leading the event. So yeah, the situation was very challenging as there are 800 participants, and I managed the event very well.
Okay.
So the main key components of management I learned from that event, how to handle everything. There are many problems that we can encounter in the management.
Okay. So how do you stay motivated and manage your stress? Because of course there will be stress coming up in any job. So how do you cope up with that?
So if we talk about motivation, like I don't like external motivation don't work much on me. So if I get some external motivation by seeing someone motivation speeches or something motivated, so it works for 1 or 2 days hardly on me. So the main source of motivation for me is internal motivation. So as I said, I was seeing the team working, like my colleagues' team working on DevOps, so I got interested in it. So this kind of technologies or new things motivates me to learn them and see how they actually work. So yeah, so the for me motivation is the something I see or something I genuinely feel is interesting. So this is the motivation for me.
Okay.
And talking about the stress situation, so panicking was never answer. So I always remember this, and if I got into the some stress situation or some situation, I just go for a quick 5 minutes walk, and after returning there, I always have a small thread from where I want to start, or I get something from that I can start. And main thing is start from basic, or the like analyze the problem or analyze the cost and start from very basic minor thing. Yeah, this kind of work for me.
Cool. All right. All right. Thank you, Ratndeep. So I'm done with the interview. I'll probably give you my feedback as well. Is there any question that you wanted to ask?
No, sir.
Cool. All right. So I'll just pause the recording and I'll give you my feedback.
Yes.